Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the very first Campfire Club. Hopefully the first of many. Hurrah!
Before we begin, shouldn't we address the elephant in the room?
I'm not an elephant. I'm a skeleton.
You know what I mean. I'm asking if it's safe for him to be here.
He's not a zombie, Anna. He's not going to randomly start chewing on us.
Hey, some of my best friends are zombies.
I think we're missing the point here. Bottom line is, yes, Joseph is safe.
Joseph.
Yes, my name is Joseph. What of it?
Just a strange name for a skeleton, that's all.
Joseph was a living, breathing person once. But after a run-in with a necromancer, he was doomed to walk the earth for 1,000 years.
So how was it he ended up here?
I found him living in my shed. We got talking and here we are.
I guess it is cool having a real skeleton at our horror club.
Exactly. Speaking of, who wants to tell the first story?
I have a story. I wrote one specially for tonight.
Awesome.
Cool.
Let's hear it.
Okay, guys, this story is called Get Out. See, Tim had never had a proper girlfriend before. That all changed when he started seeing Sharon. They saw each other often and spent a lot of time together. After being together for 6 months, the two decided to do something special to celebrate. Shannon's family owned a small cabin out in the country, and she suggested they stay there for a week. Tim was very excited at the idea and immediately booked some time of work. Within a few days, they were driving out to the country. When they arrived, Tim was in awe. It was a beautiful modern cabin, and it was situated beside a large lake. Everything was perfect in Tim's eyes. The cabin, the location, and Shannon. It was all great, but there was one thing that bothered Tim. Shannon's room was filled with porcelain dolls. They were all sitting up on shelves or on top of units. They were even perched on top of the wardrobe. Tim found them very disturbing. He couldn't help but feel like they were all watching him. During the first day, Tim tried to keep away from the bedroom. But when the evening came and it was time for bed, he had no choice but to enter the room. When he expressed his concerns to Shannon, she simply laughed and said he was being silly. And Tim thought that maybe he was just being silly. They were only dolls after all, but that night would change everything. Tim woke up in the middle of the night and found that he was unable to move or speak. All he could do was move his eyes around to look at the room around him. Shannon was sleeping peacefully in the bed beside him. He tried to get her attention, but it was no use. Suddenly, Tim felt like he was being looked at by hundreds of tiny eyes. He looked up and around and noticed that all the dolls were staring at him. Then the whispering started. "Get out!" They all started chanting. Tim's heart was racing. Just when he thought he couldn't take anymore, he shot up in bed, breathing heavily. The room was silent. When he told this to Shannon the next day, she told him it was just a bad dream and he shouldn't worry about it. But Tim was worried, very worried. The same thing happened the following night, and then the night after that. Tim thought about suggesting he sleep on the sofa out in the lounge, but he didn't want to offend Shannon. When they got to the final night, Tim couldn't wait to leave and get away from the creepy-looking dolls. He tried to focus on the idea of leaving the following morning as he lay his head down for one final night. But when he woke up, he's shocked to see Shannon standing over him. She was wearing a long dark robe with a hood pulled up over her head. Tim couldn't move or speak, so he just watched her. "I'm so sorry this has to happen to you, Tim," she said. "If it helps, I really do like you, but I enjoy living much, much more." She held up a large black book and began reading from its pages. Tim's body started to feel strange. He could feel his bones moving beneath his skin, and his body felt like it was being compressed in a large vice. Shannon reached down and picked Tim up. "Well, don't you look adorable," she said. "I think I'll place you right here." She put Tim on an empty part of the shelf and smiled at him. Sometime later, Shannon came back with another man, but Tim was unable to get his attention. All he could do was whisper on those nights when the man awoke and was unable to move. "Get out," Tim would whisper with the other dolls. "Get out, aussi."
Wow, what a great story.
Thanks, guys.
Well, I think the first meeting of the Campfire Club has been a complete success. Hopefully we'll get a chance to meet up again soon and share some more spooky stories.
Speaking of, should we mention our other friend?
That's right. Our friend Richard, who unfortunately couldn't be with us tonight, has several of his books available on Amazon.
Is there a link in the bio?
Possibly. If not, simply search for Richard Kenway on Amazon, and you should find his work. Goodbye for now, everyone. Hopefully we'll see you all again real soon.